Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. I know I'm late again, but this is the normal quarterly review, albeit just a little bit late, and I will try to get better. So let's just jump right in. We got a little bit on our plate. Hopefully this isn't too long of a video. Just a crazy year between work and client projects and the kitchen remodel and all of that. There's really just not been a lot of downtime. So on the video front, the drill charging station, which has just been outstanding. All shop scrap. I love it. You got to build one for yourself because it's something that you'll just never regret. And then of course this video coming out, the quarterly update, which is the next video. I've never had, I don't think, a quarterly update video where I didn't have videos in the can, so to speak, and ready to go. Well, this is one of those rare times. Now I have some footage moved over. I have some things getting close to ready to go, but I still have a lot of computer work to do to get those out to you guys. The kitchen cabinets. So I don't exactly recall where I left off on the kitchen video series, but the next video up on that will be the first 3 cabinets above the stove. And if memory serves me correctly, I think that that's the next video after this one, provided I get my computer work done and get that out to you guys. But that should be the next video. And without diving in too much, it's just the 3 cabinets. There's no doors in it yet. There's still some decisions to be made there by my wife. But I will get back to that series as soon as I can. Literally just yesterday, I shipped out 6 executive desks for a local client. Actually, I delivered them. I didn't ship them. But this was a huge project. This project took me around 4.5 weeks to complete. So that explains a little bit why I'm tardy here. And that commission build literally came in as I was finishing the work on the kitchen cabinets, not the video side, but just the work on the kitchen cabinet side. So, and I get it. It's a good problem to have, right? The shop is busy. I'm busy. Life is good. But like I said, there's been no downtime at all. So what's coming? Unfortunately, we've talked quite a bit about what's coming. The kitchen, again, those 3 cabinets. There's a 4th cabinet in that side of the kitchen that will be coming as well. But I haven't even started that particular project yet. And then we'll move on, of course, to the rest of the kitchen. I'm still on the uppers, but yeah, the kitchen will get done, provided there's no client projects coming in, and I think there's some of those. We'll talk about that. The executive desks that I just talked about, again, those were 6 of those. They were all in red oak, designed, and species and all that were totally picked by the client. And I literally just delivered those yesterday. So the shop has just been slamming busy, and it's still kind of a mess because of it. So I still have some cleanup work in here to do as well. I've got some quotes out right now for another local client, and I don't normally talk about these in this videos because they're not approved and they haven't hit the go button yet. But I feel pretty confident about these, so I strongly believe these projects will be coming up. There's going to be 3 more sit-stand desks with side file cabinets, if you will, kind of like my editing desk that I did here a year or so ago now. A conference table and a printer stand. And there may even be some floating shelves in there and that sort of thing. So there's still quite a bit more coming. Those quotes aren't accepted yet, but I really do think that they're coming. And then, of course, finishing the kitchen uppers. I really want to get that high on my radar this year to finish those kitchen uppers so that I can hopefully spend the winter concentrating on getting the bases built and having them ready to go, and have as little downtime as humanly possible on the kitchen. So, website, nothing new, really new there, and the Amazon affiliate page. Thank you guys. You guys have done awesome, and I really appreciate that help. The shop itself, obviously, because I've been so busy, there's not a whole lot to talk about. I'm gonna put two little items in there that I think are important to talk about. One is, if you look over my shoulder over here, you will see an ultrasonic cleaner. Now, Mark, the Wood Whisperer, put out a video on the ultrasonic cleaner and cleaning his router bits and things like that. And I went and I had a look on Amazon, and frankly, the entry point was low enough, but you got nothing to lose. So I jumped in and I ordered one, and I ordered the cleaner he's using. But from what I understand, there's a multitude of cleaners that will work in these. And I can honestly say, wow, what an amazing tool, and I should have had one in my shop a long time ago. I'm going to put some pictures up here of a couple of router bits. The first router bit's a 1/2-inch spiral bit that I used in the desk project that I just shipped out, and you haven't seen the video for. But that bit got stuck in the router for way too long without being pulled and cleaned. And that's because I was trying to maintain the router setup. But as you see in the picture, that router bit is trashed. And to the point I actually ordered a replacement for it because I knew that it was trashed. But I put it in the ultrasonic cleaner, and I left it in there for between 10 and 15 minutes, which is a little bit longer than you really need to. And then you can see the results when it came out. I was blown away. And the second bit is a 3/4 inch straight bit that I leave in the, I've totally abused this bit. It's horrible. I'm almost ashamed to show this picture because of how bad it is, but I leave it in the cabinet just in case I got to hog a bunch of crap material, and it doesn't really matter, and I'll abuse this bit until the cows come home. Well, I threw it in the ultrasonic cleaner for about 5 minutes, and then this is how it came out. Again, I was just blown away. I didn't have any scrubbing to do. I didn't have any mess from scrubbing in a bin or a bucket or, whatever. It was painless. I highly recommend it. The entry point on these little ultrasonic cleaners is really low. And the cleaner, it is what it is. It lasts forever. You dilute it. You can reuse the material. So from a cost standpoint, it's really cheap, and I highly recommend it. Thanks, Mark, for putting that out there. That was a phenomenally good idea. And the other thing in the shop, I had a forum member ask me to talk about my dust collection. What would I do differently if I were starting over? If my shop were significantly smaller, what would I do differently? Am I happy with what I have? What things do I like? What things don't I like? All those kinds of things. And there are some things, and I want to jump into that in a little bit more detail. Okay, so for those that don't know, I'm running the Clearview CV1800 with an oversized impeller, and I'm all connected to NordFab ducting, and I'll show you some pictures of that. And I am vented outside. I did away with the filter when I put this shop in, and I have never regretted that, except for when I overflow the dust collector. And it's not uncommon to get a text from my wife and tell me it's snowing outside and we're in August because the dust chips are going out there. Now they do make some nice level detectors and things like that I could hook up in here, and I just haven't done it, but it's not a bad idea to do. Additionally, Clearview is no longer in business. So when this one finally gives up the ghost, I will probably be replacing it with something else, and I will have to jump back in and do my homework. But for a shop this size, which is roughly 1,000 square feet, it does an amazing job. I really don't have too many complaints, except for over here at my planer. And let me switch this camera around, and I'll kind of explain what's going on there. So I'm a firm believer in putting your biggest needs for a dust collector as close to the collector as you can possibly get. Obviously, the planer chews a tremendous amount of dust and chips off of it. I'm coming off of a 7-inch main, and I have a Y here to a 4-inch port, and about 3.5 feet of flex hose to get to the planer itself, and I have a gate right here. With nothing else open, the dust collector tends to clog at the barrel. So it's almost as if the port in the barrel isn't quite large enough for everything to drop. Now this only happens on large milling operations where I literally have to open some other vents to allow, I think, some extra airflow coming in for that stuff to drop. As well, sometimes I just have to shut the machine down and let all that material settle into the bin before I move on. Again, on a normal, small milling operation or whatever, no issues at all. That's only on large milling operations where I am taking a huge amount of material. For instance, taking some 8/4, down to 1.5 inches for a great big conference table or something like that. Then I run into issues with the dust collection coming off of this machine. I think that may be as much an issue with the port size on the machine itself, as well as, possibly some air makeup here in the room. I'm not sure. And I never had that issue with this before until I changed and pulled off of this port. But again, this is literally the very first pull off of the dust collector from a 7-inch main. So I have some experimentation to do with this in the future, and I'll get it figured out and I'll report back to you when I do. Okay, so I wanted to take a minute and kind of show you the piping. The 7-inch main comes off of the dust collector, and the first 2 drops come over at the lathe, one for dust collection and one for a cleanup hose. The next drop on the dust collector goes to the planer that I was just talking about a minute ago, that seems to overwhelm the dust collector. And then back up to the main, and we're going to go over to the drum sander. We'll come back to those other drops here in just a minute. And then it's a long main all the way down to the other end of the shop, where I have a drop for the router table. And of course this is split into a Y with a gate to get both the fence and the box. And then it carries on over to my 14-inch bandsaw, which again has a Y for a drop. And then over to my drill press, which I primarily use with a cleanup hose. Now coming back to the other split, this is the drop to the center island with the table saw as well as the jointer. And then this carries all the way over to my 18-inch bandsaw, as well as a drop at my miter station, which again I use primarily for a cleanup hose, because in my opinion there's no such thing as good dust collection at a miter saw. So the other small issue that I have is actually with the remote. And Clearview, of course, like I said before, is out of business, so I can't really get more remotes without changing out the whole box and all of that. But the big downside for me with this is I had a pile of lumber collapse on this, and I'll show you a close-up picture of this. The bottom cover is completely busted off, and my battery tends to fall out quite frequently. And I should probably just put some blue tape on it to make sure that that doesn't happen. But again, out of sight, out of mind, and I forget about it until I reach for the dust collector button. So I'm at a stage where, do I just replace the remote switch for the current machine because it works really well, and then I can get more buttons? Or, you know, this machine has been in service for me for about 10 years. So is it time to replace the machine itself? I don't know. They're not exactly cheap, but I don't want to, say, retire from my day job and then be kicking myself because I didn't replace this machine when money was a little bit more readily available. So again, back to the ducting itself, this is all NordFab. NordFab is absolutely awesome. I absolutely love it. But this is my third shop with this ducting in it. If you're moving shops, this is absolutely the way to go. It is so fast for me to put up and take down, that it just takes the headaches out of moving your dust collection in a shop. If this were my last shop and I had to replace all this ducting today, there is no way I would be going with NordFab. The cost is just way prohibitive to putting this in. And I know that there's lots of other piping on the market now that is similar to this. And for that matter, sewer pipe is probably the easiest and cheapest way to go. And I would be choosing one of those methods if I were changing today. However, this is what's in here now. So if I just needed to make a small change here or there, I would reach out to NordFab and pay the absolute exorbitant prices to get what I needed. Hi, baby girl. That's my girl coming in to tell me it's dinner time. So on that note, guys, I hope that answered all your questions. Thanks again for everything. Thanks for watching the videos. Thanks for helping me on my Amazon page, my affiliate page, all of that good stuff. And until next time, take care.